What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports NBA Hardwood Show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm here with AP. I'm here with BobbyGomes. We are talking NBA on this Saturday. We got tons of news coming. We got the Masters going on. We got baseball. AP, I'll go to you first. How's it going over there?
Yeah, it's not bad. I'll be honest. I'm struggling today. It was the boy's ninth birthday, and took him and his buddies last night up to Top Golf, and a bunch of them spent the night. And man, those kids are ridiculous. Like, man, you would not believe what comes out of these kids' mouth. Like, I cannot even repeat some of the crap that comes out of their mouth. It is. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. But, hey, we're here. We're going to find some winners. Hopefully we don't get too much crazy news. That's what's been tilting me tonight. But either way, we'll be in the Discord, and we'll find those winners for sure.
Yep, we'll be finding those winners. We got the winners in the background. I see the Masters there. Bobby, I know you were sweating the Masters yesterday. How's it going over there? I'm sure there's no kids in your life that you're taking care of and juggling. So I'm sure you're just sweating out the Masters today. Am I right?
Yeah, no kids. Thank God. Not yet. But hopefully, I don't know, a couple of years. I'm AP's age. I have a couple of kids. Be down of the year, take them to Top Golf, which seems like a good night, AP. I know you'd probably be chasing around kids all night. It's probably a little hectic, but little Top Golf never hurt. Get a couple of swings in.
How's the swing, AP? Did you play some Top Golf? Did you get it done?
Yeah, the swing's a little rusty. It's a little rusty, but Top Golf is the perfect place to kind of tone it in. So I got some work to do in the golf game. I definitely have some work to do for sure.
There's other golfers that got some work to do as well. We saw some of them this weekend struggle, but we are here to talk some NBA. And listen, it's going to be an interesting one. I always say this on Saturdays in the NBA and the association. What happens? It's crazy. There's news. There are guys that are going to be out that we don't even know about yet, right? Like out of nowhere, you'll see some guys. That's why I typically am someone that likes to backload my lineups. Bobby, it's a 7:30 lock, but 8:30 is the next lock time, right? There's a game just on an island at 7:30, and it's an important game that people are going to be locking themselves into. So before we dive in, Bobby, is the Raptors-Cavs game one that you think you should fade for some news coming that could be going on later on in tournaments, or is it a game to load up on? Because I think that you're going to see some popular plays on this Raptors side.
Yeah, you're definitely going to see some popular plays on this Raptors side. That's what I've been trying to weigh is, do I want to backload? And it seemed like prior to the Beal news that was kind of the way I was going. We also have Embiid, who I think Embiid's not going to play tonight. That's just my opinion. I think Tobias Harris would get a bump. Ben Simmons would look a little better. And then Steph Curry late on the back-to-back. You never know. Maybe he sits. AP doesn't think that's more of that they do that a lot. I haven't really been following it too much, so I'm not really up on that. But I think you have to figure out kind of weigh what your options are. These Toronto guys are really good values, so might be a little bit too much to pass up early. AP, what are your thoughts?
What was the question?
So I was just saying.
I was zoning you out. I was trying. Our chat, I'm trying to talk to the YouTube people. I'm trying to talk to the people, and I can't get a message in there. It's like saying slow mode is on. I don't know what that means.
Slow mode for the chat. You can't spam it.
Did Captain put on a setting? I got you.
I don't know. I think Simon had it from a couple days ago.
Oh, Simon did? Okay.
Yeah, I think the chat was going a little crazy, right? So he kind of slowed it down. So you can't type messages over and over. There's like a 10-second delay, I think, in between messages.
Gotcha.
But AP, I'll go to you. So we talked yesterday, right? You were at Top Golf, and we were talking about some teams and what to look at, and I said to you, hey, 9 o'clock is where it's at, right? We need to be backloading today. It's going to be a good spot to do that. You had some pretty good calls. I think on Super Draft, you had McDaniels, who was a pretty interesting option. That was a nice guy that you were on and got that nice little multiplier there yesterday. And those late games crushed. And is that going to be another spot that you want to target today? Are we going for the late games and worrying about the news, or are we locking in on some of these early Raptors plays?
Yeah, I don't think you can do that on tonight's slate. I think the Raptors are an absolute smash spot. DeAndre Bembry, Chris Boucher, two guys. Here's the other thing I'm doing. I got half my core up on the site right now because I got three guys I know I'm playing. I'm playing Bembry. There's no way I'm not playing Bembry at 3-6. Against the Cavs, it just seems like a smash spot. They got, 8 or 9 bodies. I'm definitely going to play Boucher. He looked phenomenal the other night, 6,800. I don't think it's too much for him. I do think that price tag could scare some people off somehow, but this dude looked incredible. I'm not fading that at all. I just think, man, he's been aggressive in there. I'm not worried about Kevin Love. I'm not worried about Hartenstein either. I think Boucher is going to, he looked like, Big T talks about it all the time. He targeting these bigs that, aren't as athletic. I'm not going to get into the terms as much as Big T does, but he's got two he's going against tonight, and Kevin Love and Hartenstein. So I think Boucher is going to work these guys and put up another monster number tonight. So I love Toronto. I love that's one of the parts I like tonight. I don't think you need to run it back with anyone too in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think you have to run it back. I do think there are interesting options there. Taurean Prince is definitely a guy that, listen, it has not been someone that I've loved targeting, but I played him the other night, and he's been pretty solid, actually, coming off the bench. And he's put up 32 fantasy points, 32.75. He has not been the worst play at that 4.6K price tag. And some of these other guys, they're more sprinkle plays, I think, right? Like a Dean Wade, Isaiah Hartenstein. The prices are coming up, Bobby, right? Sure, they were around the 4.4 range and the 4.2 range, and they've got up about $500. Is the price too much now, or do you still want to sprinkle in some of these Cavs, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm not playing any of these Cavs, but I think the Bembry call and Boucher, these guys are really good plays on the Raptors side, so I'll definitely have allocations to them. Flynn's price kind of ticked up, $6K. I don't know if I want to pay that, but definitely Boucher, Trent, and obviously Bembry. Don't mind going to any of those guys.
Yeah, I think my three favorite are Bembry, OG, and Boucher. I think Bembry and Boucher are two of my favorites, no doubt. I like OG a lot, AP. What's your thoughts on OG? Because he was getting a lot more heavily involved in this offense. And now no Pascal, you could assume that OG could have a really big role. And I do think that Boucher is going to chuck up a lot of shots. I don't know if I'm predicting 65 fantasy points again, right? So there is some usage that has to go to a guy like.
OG 6'6". I think he's going to have to play a ton of minutes here. I think the matchup is good, and you got to think that he will want to dominate things on the offensive side of the board. I will say, when I watched this game, one of the last times where we saw a lineup kind of look like this, when Malachi Flynn was on the court quite a bit. He was distributing the ball quite a bit, and OG was playing off ball a little bit more. I think if OG, if you think that he is going to have the ball in his hands often, if he's going to take that Pascal Siakam role, which he definitely could, it would make a lot of sense. I think he definitely crushes, his price tag here. My thought is I think you need at least 3 Raptors in your build, and I think there's going to be a decision you got to make between Gary Trent and OG. Because I feel very good about Bembry and Boucher. So I don't have, I haven't made a decision yet. I'm not playing Stanley Johnson. I'm not playing Rodney Hood. So I think for me, it's between Trent and OG, in my builds.
Yep, obviously we need a lot of those starters to come through and kind of see how it all plays out. We got some questions in the chat. I know AP's been interacting with them. Guys, please hit that like, hit that subscribe on the video. Helps us out a ton. We got 227 watching. We want to get those likes up, and if we're pleased with the likes by the end of the show, we'll hit you guys with some swag. We'll have to see how it shakes out. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. Helps us out a ton. So some of the questions in chat that we have, and again, this is a pretty big game to talk about, especially because you do lock yourself into these guys, right? Richard Small, Bobby, he says, no Sexton or Garland. I don't want to go to these Cavs not only because I don't love these plays, but there could be things that open up later on. And I think I'm just making a mistake with that. Like we have Bradley Beal as someone that's questionable, right? And obviously guard spot could be very valuable for a guy like a Russell Westbrook. And there's just a ton of things that can happen later on where I think it's Sexton and Garland are not that great of plays, Bobby.
So like, dude, like not to cut in, but like I went through this in my own head. Sexton's 7,500. What's he done for us? 38, 33, 37, 35, 30, 44. Like you got to go back a long ways for him. Like to actually absolutely kill me at this price tag, like 50 plus kills me. He's not hitting that at all. So I'm not on him. You know,
yeah,
I don't know about you guys.
I don't think you need to be on him. And also you can make an argument that even if he got that 50, like it could be a stars and scrubs day where the scrubs can get some really nice scores and you need the raw points at spots where maybe you still won't even need him. Obviously I would take 50 for that price, but it's definitely something worth mentioning because it could be a really big stars and scrubs day because that's how the NBA is right now. Bobby, I'll go to you. So we got Bulldog asks, Love could crush his price. I think Love is someone I don't want to mess with because we don't know what the minutes are going to be. It's kind of similar to Kevin Durant right now. What about you?
Yeah, so I'm not going to Love because like you said, like I have it built in right now, like anticipating the Beal news because he just pretty much, I just think he's going to say it. So right now I have grouped at least 3 Washington Wizards. So I don't really think stacking up this game makes a ton of sense. Also think we could get later news with Embiid. I think there's potential Curry sits. I'm not like absolutely like I don't know if it's exactly going to happen. They have to win games, so it would make sense that he would just play. But you never know in the NBA on a Saturday night. So just stacking this game doesn't make sense. But definitely taking these Raptors value, I think you can go there with with Siakam. Like he's just a huge usage monster in this offense. So these ancillary Raptors pieces are all good plays, but no Cavs for me.
All right, let me ask you one more Raptor, Bobby. The question in the chat is from Blake. Says, what about Wannabe, right? Flat 3K. I know Freddie Gillespie is available. I know nothing about Freddie Gillespie. I just don't think you want to mess with those guys. I think you want to go to the Raptors that actually soak up usage and are actually like real players on this team. I think all those other fringe guys, they're not really worth it on this slate, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's Bembry, OG, Boucher, and Trent that are the guys that I'm targeting, maybe Flynn.
Yep, definitely with you on that. Guys, please hit the like, hit the subscribe on the video. Helps us out. Also want to mention all the stuff we have over at runpuresports.com right now. Head on over, check out all the DFS content that we have. We have round 4 master stuff, right? AP will have his core plays up for that, which I know everyone will be tuning in for the Masters, so definitely get in on some contests and sweat that out. We got NASCAR tonight, right? We got NHL. We have every sport you can find for $80 a month over here at runpuresports.com. So head on over and check that out. Also, if you use the code GETBETS, you will get a free month of the bets package as well with that. So use that code and you can get that with your DFS as well and get all those winners there. So I know I put some MMA bets in there today and so far so good. It looks like I'm up a little bit. Haven't watched the full card. AP Bobby, have any of you guys been sweating the MMA today?
No MMA for me. How about you, AP?
No, I'm on MLB duty and NBA duty. So, and I'm watching PGA. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't normally be watching if there wasn't so many sports, right? And we have every single sport for you covered. There's so much going on. It's one of the best bangs for your buck in the industry. So be sure to check it out. All right, so now let's talk about this next game, right? And then we get this hour in between, which is going to be very interesting, obviously, because injury news could come later on and shake up the slate. But we get the Lakers and the Nets. 8:30 for this start time. AP, I'll go to you. How are you handling the stars and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant is on a minutes limit. It's going to be increased, but he's still on a limit. Are you putting any Nets into your lineups?
Yeah, no, the Nets for me are full fade. I'm not playing Kyrie. I'd rather play Russ because I don't think Beal's going to play tonight. And I'm not playing KD at 9-1 on a minutes limit. I'm not playing Jeff Green. No, I'm not playing any of those guys. The only guy I think that is potentially in play is Andre Drummond at 6'5". He needs 26 minutes in this matchup, I think, to pay off that price tag. He could rack up a double-double really fast, I think, against this Nets team. I mean, yeah, Aldridge is some size, but honestly, I think, like I don't think he's going to slow Drummond down. The problem for upside is the main issue. Like, I don't think you're going to get full run out of Drummond because I don't think this game stays close. So the debate for me is, do I want to throw Drummond in there knowing I might only get 26 minutes out of him? So that's kind of what I'm going through in my head. Outside of him, I don't think I'm playing anyone else in this game. If Kuzma sits, maybe Markieff Morris. I just would rather fade this game because I think we're going to get much better spots later on in the slate.
Yeah, we also just got some injury news, and we'll discuss it once we get there, but I'll mention it now. We got Danny Green and Tobias Harris, both questionable, and Embiid is not on the injury report, right? So we're getting the 5:30 injury report stuff rolling in right now. Obviously, those are going to be things that we'll talk about when we get to those games. But yeah, we also got Toscano Anderson. He is probable, so we might get the Steph Curry news for you, Bobby, here in a second. But as that's all filing in, Bobby, talk to me about this Nets and Lakers game. Obviously, I love to target the Nets, right? The Nets are a team they're terrible defensively. They're a team that I want to try and go for. What are you doing here with this Nets team, Bobby?
Yeah, like for me, I think the Lakers have been pretty good defensively, like over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So for me, like and also there could be a blowout. We're not in the business of predicting blowouts, but actually, whoa, that's a -1.5. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, Kyrie, Durant's on a minutes limit. Kyrie would be the one guy that I'd actually have the most interest in. But outside of that, like there's no real Nets. And I think a decision has to be made on Drummond. Bigs versus the Nets has really paid off for RPS in the past. So don't mind going to Drummond or having in my player pool. What I would say is that I think that there might be more value opening up later, so I'd probably be a little under the field in MME, like on first look in terms of that situation. But I know he's been hitting a ton of optimal, so he's definitely someone who's in play.
Yeah, definitely think that there are some guys in play in this game, but I'm not trying to go crazy with it. And we got even more news that came in, right? Again, there's things are just going to keep filing in, right? So Kelly Oubre is out. And that's obviously going to be very interesting for this slate because that's going to open up an option like Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry. All their usage is going to be very strong for them. We know Kelly Oubre soaks up a ton of that second team usage. That's going to help some guys there. Sounds like you guys, though, really don't want to play too much of this game, and I'm sort of in agreement. This is not what I'm loading up on. You can probably make a case for Drummond on FanDuel. Pulling up the price now. He's actually moved up to 6-1. So Boucher is about 6'5". I'd probably rather go to him there. It was a bigger difference in price tag the last time out. I think it was like a 1K difference. Now it's gotten a little closer. So I think I would lean Boucher over Drummond. Would you agree on that, AP? Just load up on Boucher instead, even on FanDuel where the stocks matter a ton.
Yeah, I would. I think the minutes, your rotation's safer. He's got, that steal and block upside, like not many do. And yeah, he's going to be on the boards, and he's going to, if he comes in like he did the last game, he's going to be firing away. So I definitely think I would take Boucher over Drummond. I do think people will get sucked into Drummond, though. So, I mean, you could either take it as like a nice fade or just play the guy. I do think he's a risky play, though.
Yeah, I think you could make a case if, like, the ownership gap is like, 60% to 5%, right? If it was like a massive, massive gap, I think it depends what the gap is, and it has to be a really big one for me to kind of get off of a Boucher versus Drummond. But it is a great matchup, right? It is the Nets, so we know what Drummond can do. He can definitely do some damage, especially on a site like FanDuel where the stocks can add up. Let's head on over to the next game. Let's talk about the Kings and the Jazz. This is definitely an interesting one. The Kings, they are 11.5-point dogs. And, we've talked about it. Luke Walton definitely trying to coach for his life, it feels like. He's definitely played a little more condensed minutes on these guys. And then the Jazz, they're one of the best teams in the league right now. And they're playing really good basketball. And Jordan Clarkson is doubtful. And that is going to open up some opportunity for the guards, right? There's Ingles usage goes up. Conley, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell feels like one of the safest payups right now, Bobby. You just feel like you're going to get your fantasy points to be able to move on. Do you worry about the blowout too much, or are you just plugging him into your lineups?
I like Mitchell. I think he's a really good play. I'll have him in my player pool as of right now. Like, I just feel like you're taking out a lot of usage with Clarkson. So maybe Ingles is just I would just plug in Donovan. Donovan just seems like a really good play. Tough to get away from, especially when you're taking out Clarkson shooting.
Yeah, I think that's obviously a good option there with him. AP, talk to me about some of these usage rates, right? Like, so between like Ingles, Conley, Mitchell, like who do you think benefits the most here in this spot? Obviously, price tag matters. How are you kind of like ranking those three guys?
I mean, it's been the Donovan Mitchell show. He's owned upper 30s usage rate percentage. He's chucking 23 field goal attempts, 35. That game went to OT though. 25 last time out against the Blazers. A really strong matchup too. The other thing is like he's going to get. If the game blows out, he's playing heavy minutes in the first half, and then he's getting long, a deep run in the third quarter. They always bring him in for a couple extra minutes too, even if it blows out in the fourth, and then they pull him out. And so like he's always hitting at least, it seems like 32 minutes, 31, 32. And so like I think your blowout risk is diminished a little bit there. The price tag is up there for Donovan Mitchell, but I have a ton of interest in him. I think Joe Ingles is a really good play off the bench. We've seen when Clarkson's out, he sees a slightly higher usage rate, more opportunities for him, shooting that three ball. I think Bogdanovich is fine. But for me, it's Donovan Mitchell and Ingles are the main two guys. I think you can go Gobert maybe in tournaments. I just think, gosh, you're really relying on rebounds and blocks for him to get there, or steals, because he's not like he's going to get you a double-double, but it's not like he's putting up like 20, 25 points a night consistently. So you really need that 18 rebounds or more, and you need some blocks, which does make him somewhat risky in tournaments. I think your floor is pretty safe though, if you're looking at like a safer play in him.
Yeah, the big thing I'm going to be debating right now, though, is like, would I rather just find that money up for Curry, right? I think that's something I'm definitely going to be looking at. Of course, I know they're not in the exact same price tier, but, it might be worth it, right? It might be worth just going up 1.3K to a guy like Curry, especially with Oubre being out in a game against Houston. Definitely something that we'll talk about once we kind of get to that game. Bobby, what about Rudy Gobert? So I know he's 8.6K. It's a pretty big price tag. But in tournaments, I do think he can still have a pretty big game. We've seen him against Cleveland, right? Cleveland, he put up in 27 minutes, he put up 56.4 fantasy points. And like, this is the Sacramento Kings, right? Of course, I don't think Rudy Gobert is going to have some big game and go for 60 or 70 fantasy points, but he has done it. Remember, once this season, he did go for 70 in that one crazy game. That was really close. So if the Kings keep it close, Rudy Gobert could have a nice ceiling game. He could get like 60 fantasy points. It's definitely in the range of outcomes, but do you think he's someone that's worth rostering? Because I feel like the price tag is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable price tag. If I was at rostering any of these guys, like I'd be trying to run it back with at least De'Aaron Fox or just someone just so the game's basically staying close. Like I kind of group it that way where I just think Fox might hit my player pool, and if he did, like I'd run it back with Gobert or Donovan Mitchell or Joe Ingles or Bogdanovich. But in terms of Gobert, like he's probably the fourth favorite of the Jazz for me, but I just think that he's in a really good spot, and for GPPs, like it makes a ton of sense if you want to go that way. But yeah, I think that keeping these grouping this game to where you're getting at least one run back would be something I'd be interested in. And that guy on the other side for the Kings for me would be Fox.
Yeah, I think it makes some sense to maybe take some shots with Rudy, but I feel like I do want to take shots if I decide to take it with the Kings. Again, I'm probably not doing that. I'm probably building more stars and scrubs. I know you're not like a 150 lineup guy. I don't think Rudy is cracking your lineup, but what's your thoughts on him in this spot?
Yeah, I said a little bit ago, you need him to get the steals and blocks to pay off his price tag. You need him to get the rebounds. To BobbyGomes' point, if I'm running it back, I think, I don't think you need to force a run back here with just how the Jazz play. I think I'm going Buddy Hield, though, just because the Jazz do give up a ton of three-point looks. He is shot dependent, raw scoring dependent, but, I mean, Hield's going to chuck. and he's 5.8K. He can, if he gets hot from three, he can definitely pay that price tag off. 39 against the Wolves. But then the other side too is he's got a low floor. He put up 21 against Detroit, 25 against the Lakers. So you definitely have a floor there with him. You need him to get hot. But like, if I play Mitchell or if I play Ingles, I don't think I need to force a run back unless I'm trying to get different, in tournaments.
Yeah, I think the only way I would force any run back is if I was playing Kings, right? AP,
Yeah.
like if you're playing Kings, then I think you force in some Jazz guys. And you might even force two, because if this game does stay close, and the Jazz will absolutely go nuts, right, in this spot.
Yeah, that's the group I had. So I had Fox, and if I play Fox, I have one of Mitchell or Ingles or Gobert on the comeback. That was the group that I had. I said that wrong, but I think you don't have to force a run back with the Jazz. Like that would just, because Donovan Mitchell is a good player regardless. And obviously, Luke Walton runs the Sacramento Kings guys minutes anyways. So they both coaches are they'll burn out their players, even though Luke's known to do some crazy stuff. But I think Fox would just see minutes regardless. That's pretty much.
It feels so. Did you guys see that with Spieth? A little chip in action.
I see people talking.
This is how all the Spieth people feel like. Like they I feel like I'm running so good now with Spieth. He's chipping in left and right. Like, I kind of get it with these guys.
I will say, you got to know when to be on and when to be off, right? We were off for a while, and maybe he's going to run pure for a long time. And he ran pretty poorly for a while. He was playing some terrible golf. So, hey, we maybe didn't get on right away, AP, right? But we got on. I felt like we got on at least on the right time, right? We didn't. If we faded it here, it would have hurt. So,
I'm like 1/3 speed, but so thanks for thanks for giving him.
BobbyGomes, you see his chip in there?
No, I don't want to see that. I don't. I'm hiding from that.
I'm excited about it for sure. He was my highest on golfer on all my scripts, so can't complain about that.
I could have bet. Oh man, I would. What would you give me on odds on that? I knew that going into the league. I knew you were having a lot of speed.
Yeah, hey, I had 12% Phil Mickelson, so I bet you didn't see that one coming, Bobby. So
actually, so lefties I think that was one of the points for me with Harman. RPS been on Harman pretty much throughout this run that he's had, and
except Coop.
Yeah, lefties at Augusta have just been really good in good spots. So I thought he was a guy I went significantly overweight on. I think he's kind of tailing off now, but still a good play, getting you over in the weekend at that price.
Yeah, I had Harman. Probably not enough. I felt like I maybe should have amped it up a little bit, but I liked where I landed, so I can't complain. Have some decent teams. We'll see if I can get into the top, but I don't know. I didn't play any Justin Rose. Did you play any Justin Rose, AP? Did you throw him in there?
No, I did not.
16% Justin Rose.
Usually I play him at the
Bobby, you got 16% Rose?
Yeah.
Oh, BobbyGomes would have 16% Rose.
Hey, listen, when you
I wish I had 60% speed at this point. Oh my God, man. Oof.
Yeah.
How
do you have more Rose than speed, BobbyGomes? We gotta talk, man.
Yeah, I have 17% speed, I think. No, yeah, I have less than that on speed. I just thought that at the ownership, you have to make a stand, right? I don't know. It's either a full fade or 60 to 90%. I was thinking, so I don't know. I just thought in tournaments there was leverage if everyone kind of went there. Thing with Spieth was you had to build with 4 uniques, which is a really good build now when I think about it. But it's easy to Monday morning quarterback that whole process, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I just hated a lot of the studs this week. I don't know, there was a lot of guys I didn't like this week. It was kind of hard. I don't know. I definitely felt like I got pretty narrow on the guys I played. So I don't know. It was easy for me to kind of just load up on Spieth and call it a day, but it's enough golf. I'm sure people, I don't know, maybe some people do want to talk to golf. The Masters is always fun to talk about, and golf ownership is always an interesting thing that people always have conversations about. So you can always catch AP on the Tuesday golf show talking about that with Uncle T and Hoop. So check that out over here on the Run Pure Sports channel. Just have to hit like and then hit subscribe to make sure you check out those videos and get notified when we go live. Izzy, don't leave, man. Don't say you're out. We're talking NBA. Relax, Izzy. Golf is good. It's that time of year. It's like the Super Bowl. So we got to
let that dude leave, man.
Let him. Whoa, don't let him.
This is a
go.
free show.
If he can't appreciate,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. We don't want you in here.
Fair enough. That's actually probably what I should have said, AP. You're right. That's on me. I should have just told him, hey, if you don't want the free winners, get out of here. Right? Because we got the winners here at Run Pure Sports. Let's talk about the Sixers and Thunder game because we got big news, right? Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. That is the big three over in Philadelphia. When you take one of them out of the equation, which Tobias Harris might not be there, there's usage to go around for these guys, right? Obviously, usage that could trickle down to other options as well. Tobias Harris is definitely a primary ball handler. And AP, you said at the start of the show, you thought that Embiid was going to have some ownership, and I didn't think he was going to get ownership, but now I do, right? Like now, obviously, and that's changed, right? Because we hit this news and Embiid is only 10K. He's going up against the Thunder. Obviously, there's blowout risk where Embiid could maybe not get that full fourth quarter run, but Embiid could be part of the blowout as well, AP. So how are you handling this news with it being a 9 o'clock game? Are you playing Embiid? Are you backloading for this situation? What are you doing with the Harris news?
Yeah, I mean, he's just questionable, right? Like we don't have any definitive news on him, right?
Yeah, but it was a questionable today, right? Like it came out of nowhere, I think, right?
Yeah, so that's never a good sign. That's usually a sign that leads to a downgrade, then it leads to an out. We saw that. We're seeing that with Bradley Beal. He wasn't on the list, and he came. He's questionable. Now he's doubtful, and there's a little bed by his name, probably out for rest purposes. And yeah, with Tobias Harris, Danny Green, that's definitely a case to be made. Those two guys are out. I have interest in Joel Embiid. Shake Milton is another guy I have interest in for sure. And I might have a little bit more interest in Ben Simmons in tournaments. He's been better. So he sucks. He absolutely sucks, but he's been better with Embiid on the court because he has more assist upside. He can dish it out. Embiid really, really helps to stretch the court for this Philly team. Without him on there, they're kind of brutal. We're talking about that too. They're just not as good. But Tobias Harris, if he gets out, I am definitely on Embiid, and I'm not as worried. Like if the blowout happens, it happens. I still think he smashes, anyway.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a good spot for someone like Embiid here. And the price too, like we should talk about the price, right? Like DraftKings, he's 10K. Like that's a really cheap price tag here for a guy like Embiid. Bobby, I'll go to you because we have to talk about these Sixers. How are you breaking it down with Danny Green and Tobias Harris questionable?
Yeah, I think AP hit the nail on the head. Like it's going to be Shake, it's going to be Embiid. Those are the guys that I'd prioritize. They get the biggest usage bump. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I think these 10 o'clock games, there's some good late swap equity. So it would be just Embiid and Shake Milton for me.
All right, Embiid and Shake for sure. What about the opposite side, right? Because the Thunder are getting a little healthier, not a lot. You're going to insert Darius Bazley into the lineup, but obviously there's no Isaiah Roby. You're also inserting Lou Dort into the lineup as well. And Lou Dort was carrying some more point guard responsibilities before, but I do think this is more of a crowded situation than we've seen, and we are also seeing price tags go up here. And also, it's the Sixers, right? Not the easiest matchup in the world. I feel like it's not the right slate to go to these Thunder options. AP, will they be making your lineups?
Yeah, I'm not playing the Thunder, guys. I think we have the Toronto's a better spot. I think Detroit's even a better spot that we're going to get to. And look, with the Thunder guys, like they're not cheap. 6K, 5.5K, like those guys can absolutely, torch your lineup if they bust. And so I'm definitely off the Thunder side of this game.
Yep, definitely with you being off of the Thunder. I think it makes a ton of sense. Bobby, any Thunder options for you? I think we just stay away. If you're going to play some Sixers, you play them, and I think you just play them by themselves.
Yeah, for me, I'm not playing any of these Thunder. I think Bazley being back kind of hurts Poku a little bit. He'd be the only one that I think's priced reasonably, and yeah, I'm not on any of these Thunder guys.
Yeah, and I think AP brought up good points. Why play these guys when you play the Raptors? When you play the Pistons, right? The Pistons' value are coming up, and we got to talk about that. There's a lot to discuss because the Pistons, they get that Portland Trailblazers matchup, which Portland is a great matchup to target. Are they underdogs? Yes. Pistons are down 11.5 points, and that's sometimes scary for blowout, but I'm not worried about it too much. Portland keeps teams in games. My big worry is what will Casey do with the minutes on these guys, right? That is what I'm wondering. I'm also wondering Mason Plumlee. He's questionable. That's going to be big news at draft because if he's out, that'll be good for a guy like Stewart. All these guards, too. Corey Joseph in the revenge game randomly played 31 minutes. I don't expect that to be replicated, and I do think projections are kind of too high on a guy like Corey Joseph around the industry. Dennis Smith Jr. is somebody I see popping as well. He's 3.4K. He gets to go against the Blazers, and it is a spot where he could do well. But, AP, do you trust the minutes on these guards? And, like, how are you breaking it down? Because the Pistons, again, minutes is what matters here, right? And if you plug these guys in your lineups, you have to trust them. And I don't know exactly how many Pistons are too many. I think 2 to 3 is okay. 3 might be too much, though. I think 2 might be the magic number, or maybe it's 1.
Yeah, this is where we need to go into Discord. We need Chartman to post the charts to show the rotations. And the one problem with the Pistons is, their rotation, especially in the backcourt. I will say Corey Joseph seems to be the guy that is the safest here. And he's been good. And it makes sense. Like, the Pistons suck. And it's a guy that's just trying to build up his own stock, in my opinion. Like, he's kind of playing to, kind of prove himself that a team should want him. He's been playing good. And he's 4K. I like him quite a bit. You could make a case for Dennis Smith Jr. too. He's going to see his, 24 to 25 minutes. He could definitely get there. But yeah, he's going to be battling Killian Hayes off the bench. Keep an eye on the Plumlee news. I believe he's questionable still. Yeah, if he gets ruled out, Isaiah Stewart is a smash play. I like him a lot. 4.5K on DraftKings. Here's the other thing, why you got to backload. If you play Boucher, here's the case against playing Boucher and just taking the risk and hoping he doesn't break the slate, is you could potentially play Embiid if Tobias Harris and Danny Green sits. And then you could also play Isaiah Stewart, but you need Mason Plumlee to sit. That's a combination right there that Isaiah Stewart off of Boucher opens up a ton. And then the other thing to consider is there's so much value at the guard position on the slate. On DraftKings, that utility spot, are you going double center or are you going, a guard spot at the utility spot with all the value add? A lot of decisions to be made with some of these plays because you're not going to be able to fit all of these smash values into your lineup. So that's where I'm going back. Like, I'm definitely sold on Bembry. And, and then it gets a little tougher, for me. But I do like Boucher. It's just, man, you talk about it all the time, Mangone. Do we want to lock that up? Almost 7K. Do we want to lock that up this early when we have so many other decisions that could be made on the slate?
Yeah, and not only does it lock you up, but it locks you up to making other decisions of like 2v2s and can mess everything up. I will say you also don't have to play 2 centers on DK. Do you like to play 2 centers at times? Yeah, because they sometimes price the centers down, but you don't need to play 2 centers. You only have to play 1, so you can always use that utility spot. So you bring up a lot of great points, though, there. I don't think Corey Joseph is as safe as you do because, I don't know, his minutes, we saw what? We saw 18.9, 18.9, and 31.8. Like, my problem here with Corey Joseph is that big minutes game was against Sacramento. And I don't know, the revenge game may have been the reason why. I just don't completely.
They rolled him up. They rolled him into the starting lineup, though. So he was coming off the bench. They moved him into the starting lineup. So, like, my assumption is if he starts, which he's projected to, we should see a similar rotation. That should get him to that 30 point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're supposed to see, but I don't trust Dwayne Casey. I don't know if he'll give that closeout for sure to him. And maybe I'm wrong on that. And there's a chance, of course, he could get that. I'm definitely being a little cautious with some of the Pistons, trying to figure out exactly how to navigate them. And, of course, the value if Mason Plumlee sits helps, too, because that puts the usage in some other spots, too. So that's going to be big as well for those guards. Bobby, I'll go to you. How are you handling the Pistons? Are you putting at least one of each guy in your lineups? Are you backloading for them? What are you doing with the Pistons here against the Blazers?
Yeah, so for me, Isaiah Stewart, like that Plumlee news would be pretty big. I think Isaiah Stewart's a fantastic player, and he's someone I'd like to get in there versus Cantor defense, especially if Plumlee were to sit. And then Dennis Smith Jr. with the guards, like it's him or Corey Joseph. Like AP, I'd prioritize Corey Joseph probably. I don't understand why they're not playing Killian Hayes. Like, they drafted him, it would make sense, but they just seem to want to play Corey Joseph. And Corey Joseph is playing for his job and his future in the league, so I don't mind going to Corey Joseph there. That'd pretty much be it. I like Cantor a lot at 5'9" for Portland. It's just tough. Like, center's pretty strong now with Harris hits, Embiid, Cantor. I think Wiseman's a pretty good, gets a bump with Oubre out. There's a bunch of centers. Boucher is obviously there. Center's a very strong position, so just trying to think through that right now. Any thoughts on that, Mangone?
Yeah, I just don't know if I want to mess with it too much, right? I want to be cautious with how to really handle these Pistons. I understand that the minutes
I'm in
are
the same boat.
Like, the minutes are very volatile all around. So I don't want to jam too many of them in, and obviously need to have that Plumlee news to make all the decisions on them. That's going to be big too, because Stewart, then I feel safe about him if Plumlee's out, but I don't know with the guards. That's kind of one of the huge concerns that I can have there with this spot. What about Blazers, though? Like, do you want to run those guys back? I have not played Blazers in a very long time, mainly because Dame, CJ, like, they're just back and they're soaking up each other's usage. It is the Pistons, right? And it's a higher total, and they could obviously have big games, but I think these are stars to stay away from, Bobby. Are you mixing in any of them within your stacks?
With you're talking about the Blazers, like McCollum, Cantor, those are the guys that are sticking out the most. McCollum's obviously a really good play. Cantor, for that matter, is a really good play. I just McCollum's. It's just a matter of, like, where do I want to get? I'm gonna have a lot of Westbrook right now, a lot of Curry. Where am I going to be with McCollum? With Donovan Mitchell is the situation I'm trying to think through right now. I think I'd prefer McCollum to Mitchell. But right now, I'm getting more Mitchell than McCollum, so it's kind of, I don't know. They're actually neck and neck pretty much. AP, any thoughts on Mitchell or McCollum at shooting guard? I also like Devin Booker, to be perfectly honest. So there's a lot of good plays on this slate.
I don't know how you can play all those guards. Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
especially with Curry lurking. I know you're not playing Wiggins because you hate him. His price is gone. But
that's the thing, is, like, he's a good play too. You take Oubre out, he gets a little bump. I don't know. It's difficult to work through, but I'm trying to work through it as best I can.
If you can play all those guards, is Super Draft. Head over there.
Yeah.
You can play a ton of them.
I'm playing 150, so that's what I'm trying.
Yeah. So the Blazers, CJ McCollum, I think he's fine. Like, he's up there with, if you like Colin Sexton, I think him and CJ McCollum are about the same play. CJ McCollum maybe a little safer. Dame Lillard, price is getting kind of nice. This could be like, man, he's going to have straight shots at the hoop. If the Pistons can keep it within striking distance, that is where you could see the Blazers go off. I mean, that's just the risk, though, too. So I think I lean attacking the Kings with Donovan Mitchell, with Clarkson likely out tonight. It's just more secure rotation for Mitchell. So I would lean him. I think your lowest own, though, Bobby, is going to be Devin Booker in that later game.
Yeah.
I guess they're at the same time.
I don't know why I'm getting
both 10 o'clock games.
I gotta see what I'm doing. I must have. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Booker's usage has been up a ton. Like, I understand that.
I think Booker's a really good play tonight. Really good play.
Yeah, you are spending for it, though, right?
Yeah, you're spending for it.
I don't think he's as good of a play as you. I mean, the problem I have with Devin Booker, he's 8.9K, and, like, I'll scroll through his logs right now. The max production I can find on him is what, like 56 fantasy point game, maybe a 57, even 8-9. I just feel like there's other guys I can go to that I'd prefer. Now, it is Washington. It's one of the better matchups. I just don't think I can stomach it on this slate. I don't think it's necessary for me to go to. But the one thing I'll say is, like, let's say you have a Steph Curry plugged into your lineups, and I do think Steph is going to gain a lot more ownership now. If you are down and you need a pivot that's low owned, I do think Devin Booker is going to be low owned. So you could go to him if you think you're down and you're trying to play catch up, but probably not the route that I'm going to take. But let's kind of go and talk about these guards here in this game, Bobby. So you like Booker? Do you like Chris Paul? Do you like Ayton against Washington, where they play a big man all the time? The problem I have with Ayton is that price has gone up a bit, right? Like, FanDuel at 7.9K. DK, let me pull that up. DK, he is 7.9K as well. I think. Actually, no. Oh, sorry, wrong tab. He would be, let's see, 6.7K on DK, which that price isn't bad. 7.9 on FanDuel, I can't stomach. 6.7 on DK is definitely something that's more interesting and probably a sum that I wouldn't mind going to. And then Mikal Bridges is a guy I wouldn't mind mixing in. AP, I'll go over to you because I think if you were looking for a forward to mix and match throughout your lineups, maybe Bridges could make some sense. Or if you needed a pivot at center later on, you talked about the Plumlee thing. If you had the salary, maybe you can go to a guy like Ayton that has upside. But I'm not in love with the Suns here. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not in love with the Suns either. I think Mikal Bridges I think he's a sneaky tournament play. 5.1K. You know he's going to get a ton of minutes, especially if this game stays close. And you know they're gonna this has me thinking about what the Suns could do to Westbrook too. Like you got Mikal, you got Chris Paul. Like if Chris Paul wants to play him like one-on-one, I think Westbrook's going to have himself a day. But let's just say they rotate out Mikal Bridges onto him, like a real lengthy guy, and then put Ayton right there in the paint. I mean, kind of could be tough, but yeah, it's tough going against Westbrook when Beal's out. He just finds a way to get it done fantasy-wise. And so I think if Westbrook starts going off, I do think this is a game where Devin Booker could just have free looks all night. They have no one who can guard him. Raul Neto might get the start. Devin Booker's going to have free looks at the hoop all night. I like that call. And I don't think he's going to be that high owned too, because we have so many value guard positions. Like I like John Wall in the Warriors game, especially with Kelly Oubre out. He's a good defender. Just we might get Wall versus Curry one-on-one. From a matchup standpoint. So really tough decisions. I do like Westbrook. I think he's the safest guy in this game. Ayton, man, if he beats me, he beats me. I don't think I'm going to be playing him. And Booker, I think he's a good tournament play. I think he'll go very low tonight because of all the studs that we have at the guard position.
All right, and it looks like we got Kyle Lowry ruled out for sure tonight, and he's looking like he's going to be ruled out tomorrow as well. So that's some news there on the Raptors. Still questionable for Danny Green and Tobias Harris right now from the beat writer for the Sixers. So that's some news there. Bobby, I'm going to go to you and I'm going to ask you this question because you like a lot of guards on this slate. You talked about a ton of them, and there's a lot of good guards to like. I think my three favorite guards on the slate, not considering price completely, but I'd say Mitchell, Curry, and Westbrook, right? Those are like the three I was probably looking to get the most exposure to if I was building out 150 lines. Right? Those are three that I want to make sure to get exposure to on this slate. Now, obviously, if Bradley Beal is out, that's going to make Westbrook an incredible play. Now, what are you doing with Westbrook with the in and out situation? Because I think you're going to try and fade him if Beal is in, but if Beal is out, are you still going to try and fade him? Because that's what I'm assuming you're doing.
If Beal's out, I'm definitely not fading Westbrook.
Now, what about if he's in?
If he's in, I'll probably have to rethink it at the time. But what I'm doing right now, like leave myself some late swap equity, is I have at most 3 Wizards in pretty much every lineup. So if he is out, I can kind of swap. And this 10 p.m. slate, like DC's gone over it. Like sometimes the 10 p.m. optimal actually beats the main slate optimal. Actually happens a good majority of the time. The issue is we don't have like these teams that are going to sit guys outside of like this Beal news. Like if Curry were to sit, then Jordan Poole would be a great play, and Wiseman would be a great play with, and also Andrew Wiggins. Like all those guys would be great plays. Golden State's on a back-to-back. That was like a hypothetical I thought about prior to the show, but then AP made a good point. Like Golden State needs to win, so I don't know why Curry would sit. Yeah, but that's pretty much how I have it built out. So Rui would be a guy that would definitely be making my lineups if Beal is ruled out. I'm trying to build Rui in that way, or just anticipate Beal sitting and have swap for Rui. So that's why I have at least 3 Wizards in each lineup. Right.
I'm scrolling down. So the chat says Beal is out. Guys, I see doubtful, which
yes, doubtful.
Doubtful is normally out, right? But you don't.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Yeah, I doubt he plays. I doubt he plays.
It's definitely a good spot for him to sit. But and of course, that's worth mentioning if you're building out your lineups, right? Because if you do think he's not going to play, you need to plan for that when you're backloading, right? So if let's say you don't think he's going to play, and then you're like, well, at this time at 8:30, I need to play this guy and put him in because it's going to work. Well,
I don't think it matters that much, Mangone. Like Westbrook's been just as good with Beal playing. Like he's put up just like the ceiling maybe is reduced a little bit, but I think even if somehow he turns around and plays, I think you're definitely fine. I think it actually could be better for him because it helps to spread out.
You might be right about this take, by the way.
It's
better for him
it forces like McHale or someone on the Beal, you know what I mean? And so I really worry about what they're going to do. They have so many good defenders that they could throw at Westbrook and just try to take him out of the game. And if they do that, that's my one fear with the Suns is like you have good defense, you have a big spread. I think Westbrook might be a good tournament fade. We've already talked about all.
I think this is a sharp take. I think that's a good, like, you have to think about how well they can defend him. Like they can throw a lot of bodies at him, fail sits. Like you have to think about that. Like it has to pop into your head. So if he's going to get the ownership that we think he's going to get, it might be good taking.
He has to get the ownership because he's that good of a play. You know, it's just you have arguments against playing him too. You know, to get off the chalk. I mean, Mango, he's going to be a cash play no matter what if Beal's out, right? You just have to because he can.
Yeah, you're probably playing. The chat kills me. They're like, oh, he's definitely out. Guys, he's probably out, right? But you still talk about it because there's different scenarios and it's the NBA. And if you know all the injury news, write it down and let me know. And then
me too. I need to know. If you know it all, just let me know.
Trust me. Like you won't know for sure. Sometimes it goes crazy and it goes the other way. So it's good to talk out every single scenario. But yeah, I mean, if Beal is out, I'm probably playing Westbrook. If Beal's in, I'm probably still playing Westbrook. That's what I'm currently thinking right now. The matchup is tough, though, right? And I haven't thought it through all the way with what's going to happen with Curry, right? Because you can build a team of Curry, Mitchell, and Embiid with a lot of cheap guys, or you could maybe go to a Westbrook and like an Embiid, right? And then mix in Boucher and then all those other guys. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about it. Obviously, we talked about a Bembry, right? Bembry is someone that's really cheap that could obviously mix in throughout your lineup. So there's a lot of different things that you can do here. And the one thing to mention about, again, trying to backload it up and trying to figure out, we talked about it, AP, how many Raptors do you want to play? And the reason why we mentioned it was because later on, we have a lot of different ways you can go. It's not like there's just one game on an island. And if the news doesn't fall your way on something, you're screwed, right? Or if some random injury pops up, you're screwed. There's a lot of different things you can switch to. I mean, you mentioned it pretty well with what DC said. Sometimes that late night optimal is it. And there's 3 10 o'clock games. So you have a lot of different pivots to go to. So it's definitely something I'm going to be looking at with this game. Let's move on to the next one because there's a lot of injury stuff there. And it kind of, matters with looking at some of these other guys. We got the Rockets and the Warriors. And the Rockets, they're a team, they competed with the Clippers a little bit the other night, but then the Clippers ended up blowing them out. The Warriors are definitely not the Clippers, right? They're a team that they can keep bad teams in on games. And if the Rockets keep this game close, Steph Curry could be the highest scoring player on the entire night. Would not surprise me at all, especially with Kelly Oubre being out. We got Wiggins at 6.9K, who he could see a decent usage upgrade and have a ceiling there. Draymond Green at 7.1K. He could obviously be in a pretty nice spot here. And then on the upside, these Rockets, right? Like Christian Wood, Kelly Olynyk is definitely flashing upside. There's a lot of opportunity here on both sides, AP. So Curry is probably one of my spend-ups that I'm looking to get into my lineups. How about you?
Yeah, I think he's definitely fine. It helps with, with Oubre out. You get more quality shots with Steph Curry. Oubre likes to throw up those threes that aren't as quality, obviously, but not many players are, as Steph Curry. Actually, none. But I have interest in John Wall in this matchup. Actually, I think he should be fresh. He put up a very nice number against the Mavs. If he can do that against Dallas, he should definitely be able to do that against the Warriors. And I could just see him like being up for this game. He doesn't have a lot to be up for right now, but playing in a game against Steph Curry, I think would be reason enough to get up if you're John Wall. And I don't know. I don't like this Warriors team. I don't think they're that good. Like, I think the Rockets could hang with them. Like, I don't think this game's blown out. So I like John Wall. Kelly Olynyk's a guy I like too. He's just been good. And I will say tough matchup too with Draymond probably, chasing him down. But then, yeah, on the Warriors side, Steph Curry, Wiggins is maybe fine. I think Bazemore would slide in, and he's really cheap. I don't know if I really trust Baze. I like Bazemore if the main usage guy is out, so that'd be Steph Curry. If he's out, then you see the ball maybe in Bazemore's hand a little bit more. But like right now, it's Steph Curry, Wiggins, then Bazemore if he does get the start, which would make sense. You got Jordan Poole and Lee off the bench. So yeah, it's Curry and it's Wall for me in this game.
Yeah, definitely going to be loading up on some Curry here in this spot. Rocket side too. Bobby, you play tournaments. It's tough to peg which guy to go. I do think if you kind of load up, like let's say you play a Curry and a Draymond, I think that I force in one of the Rockets, right? How are you handling this Rockets and Warriors game?
Yeah, I have a lot of Curry. This could be a sneaky spot for Draymond. Definitely taking Oubre out should help him out a little bit. Christian Wood defense. Rockets have been horrible versus bigs all year round. I like the John Wall call a lot. Like they're just going to see Golden State. Like if John Wall is going to be very low owned, he's definitely a good tournament play. If Wall were to sit, Kevin Porter Jr. would be someone who would definitely get a bump. I think, but I'm pretty sure Wall's good to go or 79. Yeah, I like Wall. I like that call. That's another. Yeah, like these 10 p.m. games, like where we need. This is why we need chart, man. This is a good. It's really good. It's very good to leave late swap equity tonight, I would say. I know, Mangone, you're thinking about that too.
Well, yeah, but I'm also thinking about the Raptors. The Raptors have 8 players. One is on a minutes limit, right? And another one has never gone through a team practice, right? So, like, you have to find that right mix tonight because those Raptors are definitely not guys I really want to avoid tonight. So that's definitely something to look at here. A guy that wasn't mentioned, and I already see him popping on some projections and stuff, and I was hoping he wouldn't, but I don't know. Maybe he's going to be chalk now. Kent Bazemore,
Yeah,
he's definitely been getting minutes, and this is the perfect game for him. I look for him in these like small ball kind of games. I guess I'll ask you, AP, because like Bembry is 3,600 and so is Bazemore. So are these guys just both going to get owned, or are you going to maybe see like ownership kind of split on them, and maybe Bazemore gets more under owned?
I think Bembry's a way, way better play than Bazemore. Kind of like I just said, man, going like I like Bazemore if the highest usage guy is off the court, which is Steph Curry. So Curry's going to be on there. Then Wiggins. I think Bazemore is like if he's your last value in, I think he's fine. I think he will get ownership because he's cheap and he'll probably be the projected starter. But I would rather play Bembry straight up.
Yeah, I was thinking Bazemore would be a little lower owned. Apparently, it's not what things are saying, but ownership is going to change all throughout the night for sure, no doubt in my mind. So I guess that'll wrap it up for these games. Guys, please hit that like, hit that subscribe on the video. Helps us out a ton. We got 360 watching AP. We got 122 likes. What are we thinking here? Do we even want to give out the plays? Do we want to just give it to the Discord on Saturday here? Do you want to give out gear? What do you want to do here, AP?
Your call.
My call,
your call, man. Going, you're running the show.
Listen. I'm trying to think about this here. Like, we're at 360 likes, 122. Impress me in the next couple of minutes while I talk about Super Draft real quick. So I got 2 guys that do the Super Draft, right? So I want to talk about that a little bit here. Super Draft is something that is great. It's something that it's a new DFS style that you may have not became familiar with. Obviously, salary format is awesome here. We love to play it. We love trying to figure out that puzzle. But over at Super Draft, there's a different puzzle that you can kind of put together. Russell Westbrook, his multiplier is 1 fantasy point, right? If he puts up 60 fantasy points, you're getting 60. But if Steph Curry, he might have a 1.1x multiplier where if he puts up 50, that's not the same, right? You can find some of these guys like yesterday, some of these Bucks, Jeff Teague, he had a huge multiplier. It was either like 1.75, something like that, where his fantasy points are worth more than someone like Russell Westbrook's. And if they have that nice ceiling game, you can get some really nice production. And AP, like Jalen McDaniels yesterday, he was the guy that you had, right? He put up like 40 fantasy points, and I think the multiplier was 1.75 on him, right?
Oh, it's 2x. Yeah, 2x multiplier. Yep. He crushed.
2x. So that was definitely something. Again, Super Draft is awesome. Bobby, you play Super Draft. Tell me like your favorite thing about it.
Yeah, just like the multiplier aspect of it's pretty good. I think it gives you an edge if you can see where usage is going and pretty much who's getting basically leverage on their multiplier when the usage switches. So yeah, that's something I like. That's like my favorite aspect of it, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I love it. Use that code RUNPURE. You get $100 match deposit bonus. Head on over, play that super draft. I saw some people absolutely crushing it over there, so check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna say we hold off on swagging the plays. I'm not impressed today. I think we could have done a better job. And what I'll do is I'll put mine on the cash chart as people love to check.
We'll have it in Discord.
We'll put it in Discord.
Yeah, we'll put it in Discord too for sure for the subs, right? So if you don't sub to Run Pure Sports, head on over there. $80 to sign up for a month, $20 for the week if you just want to get a taste of all the action. We have every single DFS sport that you guys need. So check it out. Also, news will be changing too. There's tons of news that happens on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It's stuff you just don't even expect. It's every day in the NBA, but especially on the weekends. You always see just random stuff that you do not expect. I didn't expect Kelly Oubre to happen today, and that's mainly because there's no practice, right? There's no practice on the weekends where you get all that news and information. So that'll wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the show. For me, Mangone, AP, and BobbyGomes. See you guys later.